What do you think is the most important skill in trading? It's a question I've asked thousands of traders over the years. And the answers are usually very similar. Patience, discipline, risk management, psychology. Now don't get me wrong, all those things matter, but none of them is the most important skill in trading. In fact, let me ask you something. What good is patience when you are patiently holding a wrong position? What good is discipline if you are disciplined in the wrong direction? What good is risk management if your market analysis is wrong from the start? Think about that for a moment. People talk about risk-reward ratio as a panacea of trading, but that's totally useless when your analysis is wrong to begin with, when your forecast is wrong, when you start a position in the opposite direction of the market trend. Every successful trade begins with a forecast. Before you can enter a trade, before you can manage risk, before you can decide where to take profits, you first need to answer one critical question. Where is the market likely to head next? And that is where most traders struggle. Not because they lack indicators, not because they have the wrong strategies, but because they never developed a reliable forecasting methodology. They spend years jumping from system to system, from indicator to indicator, from strategy to strategy. Yet, they never solved the most fundamental problem. They still don't know where the market is heading next. This is why the Elliott wave principle captured my attention so many years ago. Of all the methodologies I studied in order to become a certified market technician, nothing came close to the Elliott wave principle to determine trend direction, market structure, and probable future direction. The more I studied it, the more I became convinced that forecasting is the foundation which all successful trading is built. The problem? Elliott wave is very simple, but it is not easy. In fact, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Most people underestimate just how much work is required. It takes months to learn the wave principle under a good mentor and guide. Probably years to understand how to apply its rules and guidelines. I find that traders even spend years before they actually understand the benefits, the blessings of having alternate count, or the importance of having alternate count before they even decide to engage in a position. And let's not mention the years that it takes to understand the market personalities. Every market has its own personality. It takes years to develop the confidence required to apply the wave principle consistently, without disappointment, but understanding that a tool is not to be blamed because of your lack of skills to use it. If you are building a table and you are using a hammer and the table is crooked, you don't blame the hammer. It's the carpenter, it's the person that used the hammer. So with the wave principle, it's the same. The wave principle is the tool, probably the best tool. As the best tool, it doesn't mean that it's available and easy for everyone to understand in a matter of probably minutes, as they do when they understand a strategy. People go to YouTube videos, find a strategy, a simple strategy where they show resistance and support and an indicator that when it crosses and market hits support, and that's your entry and whatever, those strategies are all well known. Why is it that they don't work? Why is it that so many people are losing money when all those strategies, which I repeated video after video, channel after channel, are showing the strategy that supposedly worked? Why? Well, obviously, because in order to learn something that actually works, hard work is required. It takes years. Tell me how I know. I know it because I lived it. I spent years trying to learn the Elliott wave principle before I even invested thousands of dollars in mentors and proper preparation, proper instruction. And while the journey was worth every penny I invested, teaching the wave principle year after year to thousands of professional traders and amateur traders taught me something very important. Most traders will never have the dedication, will never have the time or the resources, and most traders probably will never have the proper guidance to learn the wave principle properly. So most traders will never achieve the level of mastery of the wave principle that it is required in order to forecast markets before they take a position, before they take any trade, before they risk any money. The problem is they still need clarity, they still need a roadmap. And that realization led me to a simple question. What if traders could benefit from professional Elliott wave analysis without spending years and thousands upon thousands of dollars in order to learn it, in order to master it? That question, or the answer to that question, eventually became the Elliott wave indicator. But here is what many people misunderstand what we've built. The Elliott wave indicator is not another one of those Elliott wave automatic software. It's not a robot making random decisions. It's not a black box or a trading signal service. And it's certainly not one of those indicators that changes labels right after the move has finished. Instead, we approached the problem differently. We combined advanced technology with human expertise. The technology processes the data and proposes structures. Our team reviews, refines, and supervises the analysis. The result is a professional Elliott wave roadmap delivered directly to your charts. TradingView, NinjaTrader, and through a browser dashboard. So for traders using other platforms, many people ask me, what if I don't have Ninja? What if I don't have TradingView? It doesn't matter. You can use a web browser where you can see exactly the labels that we are using for that particular market in that particular time frame. Now, when you go to trade, instead of staring at a blank chart and not knowing where to begin, you immediately see the most likely path that markets are going to take based on Elliott wave analysis. An Elliott wave analysis that is proposed by an advanced technology and refined by expert Elliotticians that supervise the entire process. You immediately see the most likely path. You immediately see the trend. You immediately see the levels that markets have to go through in order to confirm or invalidate a count. You see the structure, the critical levels of support or resistance, the key levels of support or resistance. You see it all right in front of you. And perhaps most importantly, you start every single trading day with a forecast, with the right way to start by knowing or having an idea where is the most likely path the market is heading next. Because forecasting is the first prerequisite for any successful trading strategy. That is not my opinion. You can find that in any technical analysis book available in the market. The most basic technical analysis book available in the market will tell you strategies need three things: forecast, timing, and of course trade management. Any strategy requires these three elements in order to succeed. Without them, the strategy will fail. Regrettably, nobody understands that. Everybody thinks that a strategy is only timing, is where to enter, where do I buy, where do I sell, not realizing that the what, the when, and the how are all important. Without a forecast, entries become guesses. Risk management becomes reactive. Trade management becomes emotional. Everything begins with knowing where the market is likely heading next. Sure, you can do that with moving averages, you can do that with many indicators. Many indicators will attempt to do that, and many can do a really good job. But that is precisely the purpose of the Elliott wave indicator, and no strategy known to man is more precise to forecast than the Elliott wave principle. Hence, the Elliott wave indicator is so important for any trader that actually appreciates Elliott, that understands how Elliott works, and understands the importance of having a proper forecast before taking any decision, before risking any money, before being able to manage any position or consider the risk-reward ratio. The real purpose of the Elliott wave indicator is to tell you before it happens what the next meaningful direction of the market likely will be. The purpose is not to replace traders, the purpose is not to replace judgment or to replace knowledge, but to give traders access to professionally great forecasting that would otherwise take years or hire a trading desk full of professional technicians to tell you what they think. And that's precisely what the Elliott wave indicator does in such a subtle, smooth way. It tells you what a whole team of analysts, including an AI, think the market is likely to do next. If you'd like to see exactly how it works, click the link below this video. You will be able to see the Elliott wave indicator in your own chart if you have TradingView or NinjaTrader, and you'll be able to take advantage of the forecast and see why so many traders are excited about the Elliott wave indicator, the first indicator of Elliott wave that actually works. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.